The next day, I crossed over into Ecuador, and that was interesting. Ecuador definitely felt sort of more clean, more organized. The border was a lot different than the borders in Central America. This was my first border crossing in South America. A little more sort of involved, lineups, queues, a little more specific. So heading into Ecuador here, very, very green, beautiful, beautiful countryside. I have some videos of that, and you can see there where the Andean hillsides start to have that patchwork quilt farming kind of look to it. Very gorgeous green, but different textures from the different, I guess, crops or whatever they might be growing there, or different property on the hillside. Then I got to Ibarra, which is 7,300 feet, and I have some video there sort of in the downtown center, and I could really start to feel more of the Andean influence in terms of people and culture and some of the facial features, and just feeling a bit more like I was actually in the Andes now, in Ibarra. It's a pretty cool place. Then I headed down to a place called Latacunga, which is even higher, 9,200 feet elevation. And that town was really cool. I have a bunch of videos from there, sort of like the square with the churches in the town, moving up above the town and taking some video. You can see like up there's on some of the walls, they'll break beer bottles and like cement them into the top of the wall, either to keep birds off or I don't know, so people won't climb on them. So that's sort of interesting. There's a video with a dog on a roof, which you see in South America a bit. It's kind of funny. But yeah, beautiful place, very interesting city. But unfortunately at that point, my stomach started to die. And I don't know if it was probably something I ate, I'm sure. It's different sort of like conditions of sanitation with the food and whatnot in South America. But yeah, stomach started to die. They're not bad, but just starting. And that continued to sort of bother me for a little bit of the trip. But next we moved down to another city called Cuenca. So a little lower elevation, 8,300. And it was a very long and sort of dynamic drive to get there, like a lot of different changes on route, of terrain. At one point I was in a little tiny city and a village, and it was raining. There were people dancing on the street. I think there was like maybe, I don't know, like Carnival or Carnival at that time of year in Ecuador, I don't know. There was this game that everybody was playing where they would spray each other with silly string. This was everywhere. So I have some video of that as well. That's very sort of weird and awesome, I guess. Very funny. And of course the rad Andean radio that started to be picked up here, sort of a cross between the traditional Andean music and, I don't know, like 80s pop. So maybe I'll have a little bit of that for you to listen to. I don't know. So yeah, I got to Cuenca and it was like super affluent. Like it totally changed from being this sort of like Central American but more advanced in South America vibe to like pretty much like first world. Like I remember going to a restaurant and watching on the television screen like Alice in Wonderland with Johnny Depp or something like that. It was just kind of surreal, like being in like almost a first world environment, but in a completely different place, and particularly from where I was coming from. So I have some video of that. Got some really cool river scenery in that city, some very nice churches and squares, very, very sort of developed. And a little bit of a view from above. You can see even some of the houses are like how we would build our houses in Canada or the USA. So yeah, that was an interesting place. And the final city I had in Ecuador, it's like my favorite, this place called Loja. And it's about 6,800 feet, so a little bit lower, but just totally nestled into this like green valley. And they have like trees with pine needles and I don't know, it's just amazing. So that was a great place. I have some video of the city, but I also have some video, there's like this one hike you can do up to this sort of like castle. Really interesting. And you go in there and up top you get a viewpoint of the entire Loja, like the sort of valley that it's in. It's just amazing. I love that place. I was there for 2 nights because I had to cross a border into Peru the next day, so I needed to plan a bit. And I wanted to give my stomach a chance to just relax a bit. So the next day I went walking again through the city into this park along the river. Totally gorgeous green like place, like it was amazing. Loja was like the bomb, like totally amazing place. And they even had like these totem poles, which I don't know if it was referencing like North American, Native American culture, or if they actually had totem poles in South America as well, but very strange and interesting, and sort of capped off my Ecuador experience. Ecuador was awesome. That was so cool. And Loja, definitely one of the best places I've seen on the journey down here. So that's where we'll leave that video the next day, crossing into Peru. Okay.